DeSantis is in, and as you can imagine, looks like we're going to be fighting for a long time before the primaries are even here, because we are arguing about what conservatism even is. I'm going to explain some things today from my point of view that I think maybe help out. Also, we have more drag insanity, more transanity. We have more LGBT pride stuff going on. Conservatives are beginning to make their voices heard. We're going to talk about that as well. Man, have we got a lot to talk about. I just got back from NRB. I'm going to fill you in with that. So I better shut up so we can jump in to the sweetest podcast ever. And by the way, if you like the podcast, go give it a 5-star rating, maybe 4, anything under 4. And honestly, I don't know what's wrong with you. Okay, let's jump into Cooper stuff. Cooper stuff! Hey everybody, what is up? Thanks for coming back and watching Cooper stuff. Last week was a busy week. Look, happy Memorial Day weekend, all right? A incredible thank you to all of the men and women who have fallen serving this country. I know that there are some people in Christianity, it seems evangelicalism these days, who for some reason they get uncomfortable when people talk about being patriotic or when they thank people for their service. I mean, I won't say they're uncomfortable with thanking people for their service, but they're sort of uncomfortable with the idea that this country is worth defending and that our ideals are good. I got to be honest, I don't understand that point of view at all. I want to say a huge thank you. I hope you had a great Memorial Day, and thank you to all the people who have fallen in service for this great country. So we have the liberty to live out the gospel. We have the liberty to go to church. We have the liberty to speak our minds, liberty to share the gospel, liberty to associate. There is a lot of absolutely awesome things about this country we should be very, very thankful for. So that happy Memorial Day. So I just got back from NRB. If you don't know what NRB is, I didn't know what it was until a couple of years ago when I went for the first time. National Religious Broadcasters. I just want to give you guys a little piece of encouragement. Every single person I talked to at NRB, there's a couple thousand, few thousand people, I don't know how many. Everybody agrees with a lot of you watching Cooper stuff. There's not anybody there that I talk to that is unaware of what is happening in this country. And it seems like the prescriptions were very similar across the board. Now, I'm excited about this because it was so refreshing, you guys. I don't know if you ever feel, you have to feel like this because I feel like this. You start to feel like you're alone and maybe you're like losing your mind because other people aren't losing their mind. And you can't, sometimes you just can't convince even some of your best friends, maybe your church. I get it. I know what that's like. You're trying to convince people that you know are really awesome people, love God, believe the same things you believe, but for some reason, you just can't convince them of the incredible precipice we are on right now in our country, that this isn't just like, hey, we're fighting for culture war because we really want our ways to win. It's not just that. We are on the precipice of the destruction of America. And with the destruction of America, you have to ask yourself, what's going to replace it? Like, if America, like, what's next? I mean, I kind of think that we're already in the descent we've already kind of gone off the precipice. We're a little bit on the descent, and you're already starting to see what's going to replace it. It's going to be the things you see right now that you go, well, I don't even, wait. I have to say that a boy is a cat. Are you serious? I have to say that a boy can have a period, a man can have a baby. We are absolutely right now seeing what it looks like. For instance, what does equity look like when it comes to policing and this and the other? Well, equity, which we all know means, equality of outcomes. We're already seeing a little bit of what that looks like. It's called a 30 to 40% homicide rate increase in America since 2019. That's what it looks like. Since 2020, the social justice movement, equity, we're going to have justice. What does that look like as we destroy the old ideas of American justice and American law, which is just an illusion, basically to keep, majority culture in power, they tell us, according to CRT and whatnot. And so we're going to destroy all that and institute a brand new justice. And what are we going to get? Well, you're seeing it. It's going to be rando people killing other randos in the middle of the city. It's going to be brawls starting in Chicago O'Hare. I don't know if you saw that. Just Chicago O'Hare at the luggage line, and they start literally a brawl. I don't mean two people fighting. I mean like 15 people fighting. It's absolutely insane. Let's just have a brawl. Like WWE. It's like a cage match as you're getting your luggage. Mommy, what are they doing? They're having a cage match. Don't worry. Let's get some Starbucks. Some Starbies. Why do they have a cage match? It's all fine. I'll tell you what it's going to look like. It's a song I made up last week that I'd forgotten about till my friend Seth Morrison was like, that song you made on Cooper stuff was really funny. I don't know what it was. And he sent it to me, and it goes a little something like this. Jump into the train, driving into hell. Yeah, that's basically what we're doing. So what we are seeing right now is already, we're on the precipice, and everybody at NRB knows it. And everybody says, we have to bring back our beliefs in God, our beliefs in Christianity, our religious heritage that teaches us that the family is good, that equality under the law is actually a good thing, that there are some ideas, I'm sorry, not sorry, some ideas that are better than other ideas. You see, right now we're living this weird pluralistic time where everybody's like, you're not allowed to say any ideas are better than others because it hurts people and their feels. How's your feels? They're happies. I don't want to hurt anybody that feels, so everybody's ideas are equal. No, they're not. Now, we just saw this with this absolutely insane stuff that's happening for Pride Month. I'm going to explain a little bit of this, but the idea now, so the Dodgers, somebody hit me with this with a tweet. I think it was from the Dodgers. I haven't had time to read it, but it sounds like it's true. I don't know. You look up for yourself and tell me. I don't have time for this. It seems like the Dodgers might now. Let me rewind. If you didn't watch last week's episode, hey, what's wrong with you? Cooper Stuff's the best. But the Dodgers, they had this thing. They invited this drag group, which is an anti-Catholic, anti-Jesus, basically a Catholic hate group and a Jesus hate group to come to their Pride night for the baseball game for the Dodgers. And anyway, it's a whole big thing. Go watch the episode. There's so much backlash that now it seems, if this is true, the Dodgers are saying, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do a Christian night too. So come join us for that. So they're trying to balance the scales here. And some people might be like, okay, that's good. If they're going to have that, then they really should have the other. But this gets down to the point that, yeah, but some ideas are better than others. Some ideas lead to virtue. Some ideas lead to vice. Some ideas lead to life, and some lead to death. And if we believe, as America was founded upon, that a proper nation, a thriving nation, a flourishing nation, a nation that will be blessed, if we believe that nation will be built upon the strength of the nuclear family, I mean, this is so crazy that we're even talking about this. It's like, if we believe that strong families are in fact the backbone of society, because the family is the first arena of self-government, right? You know what I mean? So we have government under God. We see that in the book of Genesis, right? So a father and a mother are going to be like a little church of their own. It's like a little church of their own. You're bringing spiritual authority to your family, and this is how we are going to build a thriving nation where a mom and a dad have a child, and they take care of their child, and they raise up their child, they train their child, they pass along things of inherited wisdom. That's a better idea than anti-Catholic drag queens. So it's kind of like, yeah, but they're having both. So, I mean, hey, it's a marketplace of ideas. I mean, I hear you. That's a libertarian kind of concept that, I mean, I like the marketplace of ideas, believe me, but the idea that basically no ideas are better than other ideas, everybody just do your own thing, that's not going to actually work in the end. It's going to be moral anarchy. And so, yeah, there are some ideas that are better for the fabric of society and an American family institution like baseball. I mean, it's like there are some ideas that are better than others. For instance, if I go to a baseball game, I want a hot dog, and it better be all beef. I don't want a vegan hot dog. A beef hot dog is a better idea than a vegan dog. I know not everybody agrees with me, but that's in the Bible somewhere, all right? So there are some ideas that are better than others. I'm sorry. So we're seeing more of this absolute insanity. But let me posit what I'm going to be talking about today I'm going to share a bunch of clips with conservatism. Here's what I'm positing. As we are going into this race, I mean, it's pretty early to be talking about the presidential race. Lord help us. Oh, God, help us. As we're going into it, it is my belief that if we fix, so everybody knows there's inflation. Everybody knows that the economy is not doing well. The world stage is also not going good. And so what this is going to mean for the future economically, it is a little frightening. I'm not going to lie to you. It's a little frightening. So people are like, hey, what we need to do is conservative principles and a free market, and we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this, we're going to lower tax rates, and then we're going to get back to thriving, and everybody's going to see that Republicans are awesome. Here's what I posit. If that's all that conservatives do, that doesn't save America from the precipice of absolute moral destruction. That's what I'm positing. Like, I'm not all here just for the Republican win. Woo! If it's a Republican win without addressing the moral rot and the disintegration of the moral fabric of America, then all the money in the world ain't gonna save us. Money, I'm sorry, here, Cooper Stuff rules for life. Here it is. Money is not the Messiah. Money is not a God. Money cannot save you. Money cannot fix your family's problems. Money cannot fix the fact that we're going to have an anti-Christian drag night at a baseball game, at a family event. And it's not going to fix the fact that our corporate leaders and big tech people and our presidential nominees, doesn't fix the fact that they cannot discern which one of these things is a better idea. The family, Christianity, religion, which is, by the way, that is our religious heritage. There's nothing wrong with that. We should have moral confidence to say, by the way, sorry, not sorry. That is our Christian heritage. That's what's been passed down to us. Doesn't mean everybody has to believe like us. Doesn't mean anybody should be forced to believe like us. But that is actually the heritage. That is the fabric of this country. And yeah, it's a better idea than getting a drag group in to make fun of Jesus Christ. Men dressed like women, writhing up and down on wooden crosses. I mean, it's insane we're even talking about. That's what I'm positing, all right? And now we've got North Face jumping into this. North Face is jumping into uber crazy, pride stuff. And so I'm going to show you that video just to say, this is the degradation of society, the sexualization of our children. I mean, it's the craziest thing I've ever seen, that we're just celebrating. So now North Face is like, hey, we have a pride line for kids. They have just little 8, 9-year-old kids wearing gay pride stuff. And so I'm going to explain that in 1 second, but this actually is a good time for me to transition to tell you about our sponsor. Let me tell you about SD Bullion. All right, precious metals, gold and silver. You've heard me say it 1,000 times, but it's so very important, you guys. You probably know we have this whole debt ceiling debate going on right now. Who knows what's going to happen with this? Inflation is still going absolutely ape. People are rightly a little concerned about the future. The war in Ukraine is still happening. We're still sending millions and millions of dollars. We are printing money like crazy, and this cannot be sustained. We don't know the future, but I'll tell you what, it is worth doing a little bit of thinking about investing a little bit of your money in precious metals. All right, I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research. But I want to say this. I'm not saying you need to go sell everything you have and buy all these gold and have it all at your house and it's all you have. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you might want to consider doing a little bit. That's what I did, because I want to have something in my hands in case the very worst happens. And I also want something to protect me against the fact that my money ain't going to be worth what it used to be. Already it's not, all right? SD Bullion is a Christian-owned company. They are passionate about training Christians on investing, about why this matters, about why gold and silver have retained their value over a really long time compared to other investments, all right? And they will ship straight to your door. I love it. I just love that I can go online, I can order it, it comes to my door, and I can hold a little silver coin, all right? Or a gold coin. Text Cooper to 465 465-322. That spells gold 22. 465-322. They're going to send you a brochure. They're going to send you information. Doesn't cost you anything. They're going to send you something so you can do your own research. Or if you say, John, I want to buy something now for the first time, go for it. Text Cooper to 465-322. They're going to give you a discount on your very first order. So I've already told you guys, this is who I do all my business with, and I love it. I think you should check it out. They got awesome silver coins, and right now, gold and silver are exploding because everybody is realizing things are getting cray, and people are feeling a little frightened about the future. So you know what? Do yourself a favor and at least check out the information. Okay, so I know some people are like, okay, John, let's talk about the DeSantis stuff. Let's talk about the conservatism stuff. I get it. But this is all actually included in what we're talking about. It's all included in what we're talking about. If all conservatism is going to be is lowering taxes and unleashing the market and unleashing all these restrictions so that we can have, get better outcomes for the groups of people and blah, blah, blah. I mean, I like all of that. But that ain't going to stop North Face, Dodgers, and Bud Light, and whoever else from trying to Target, from trying to sexualize your kids. Now, I want to say this because there's finally a backlash happening. I want to explain why. Bud Light is getting just absolutely demolished. Do I feel bad about that? Not at all. Never forgive. Never, ever forgive. And I'm going to be honest with you. I feel that way about Target. Never forgive. It's sort of like, yeah, but they did this and we should kind of show them and we should be ready to forgive people. Yeah, forgive people. You didn't mean you have to forgive that corporation. They hate you. This is what I'm talking about. Listen, finally there's a backlash. Target is feeling it. I'm glad. I hope they feel it really, really, really much. And I'm not going to forget and I'm not going to forgive. All right. I hope they feel it. Why is that happening? There's finally a tipping point. You see, conservatives we don't boycott typically. We don't like it. We tend to be free market people. We tend to be capitalists. We tend to say, hey, I'm going to vote with my money. Some of that is because we don't like to make a stink about stuff. How do you know that? Because I get hammered by Christians all the time about not seeming loving enough. Bunnies, unicorn love. About not being nice. Well, but we have to show them that we love them and we care for them. I'm like, yeah, but at some point you have to say, sorry, that's evil. Sorry, it's a thing. Telling your little boy to tuck up his penicular cylinder and testicles into a bathing suit. A girl's bathing suit so he can pretend he's a girl. I'm sorry. I love you. Yes, I care about you, which is why I don't want you tucking your junk. Okay. It's why I'm like, no. There's a created order and I love you the way God created you, which means that you're a boy and it is not healthy for you. So we get hammered about this. Love people, let live and let live. Live and let live is a very kind of libertarian thing. And there's a lot of crossover libertarianism and conservatism. We don't like to boycott. So why is it finally happening? It's finally happening because there's a lot basically of independence and even, I would say, conservatives who are not religious and even center left people who tend to kind of be on the left, but they're finally like, wait a minute. I did not sign up for them coming after the kids. You see, this is not about in any way hating people who are gay, hating people who are bisexual, hating transgender people. This is absolutely nothing like that. In fact, there's a lot of gay people, bisexual people, even some trans people coming out saying, hey, I don't like what's actually going on. I don't like this pride activism. Douglas Murray is a kind of conservative thinker, sociologist. He is not a Christian. I don't know if he's an atheist or not, but he's not a Christian. He is gay. And he is like, hey, the gay people that I know, most of us, we just want to be left alone. We want to live our lives. We want to love our friends. We want to, love our families. We want to go to work. We just want to be left alone. That's all we really want to do. We don't like this pride stuff happening. There's another group, Gays Against Groomers, they're called. They are very against all of this stuff because they recognize they are marketing sexuality to children. So it's finally a tipping point, but this is what I got to say to conservatives, to Christians. We're finally really, really upset because they're quote, coming after the kids. And I think that's really good. It's not about hating gay people. This is about a campaign coming after the kids. But here's what I want to say. Why weren't we mad before? And this is this is really what I don't get. And I'm not judging everybody else out there. I've been like this for a long time. I've just been like, I don't want to make a stink about stuff. I'm going to shop somewhere. It's fine. Let's live and let live. Show people that Jesus loves them. I don't think I can force anybody to change their life here. It's the Spirit of God that does that. I want to love people. I want to preach the gospel to them. I'll stand up, for what I believe is right in terms of my, when I communicate the gospel to people in a relationship way, a friendship way, but I don't want to go and start getting mad at Target because they have a whole pride thing. And it's not here's the thing. You have to ask yourself, why are we celebrating sexuality in Target anyway? I mean, it's crazy. You never go in Target or any of these stores and be like, oh, there's a Christian section. We have Christmas, maybe. That's maybe the closest thing. But it's not like we have celebrate your faith in Jesus Day. It's not like we have, celebrate the strong nuclear family of a man and a woman and their kids. And that is the backbone of society. We need to celebrate heterosexuality. We never do that. So why do we want to start making kids at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 years old, 10 years old, start thinking constantly about their sexuality? Start thinking that way. What do you feel inside? Who are you attracted to when you talk about it? We need you to know that we're going to celebrate it if you're really into being attracted to the same sex. We want you to know that we love it and it's awesome and it's fun. Why are they doing that? That's what this is about. This is not about hate. This is not about wanting to hurt anybody or something like that, right? That's not what this is about. This is about saying there are some ideas in society, I'm sorry, that are better than other ideas to build a society upon. All right, now that's when we get into our talk about conservatism. I'm going to show you this clip from the panel that I was on at NRB this week. The question I'm being asked, we're talking about what conservatives need to do for the upcoming election. We're talking about just all this culture stuff, DEI, CRT, whatever, LGBTQ, activism, authoritarianism, yada, yada. And she was asking me about this statistic that I read when I had Corey on the show a couple weeks ago about the amount of people who value religion and patriotism is gone way, way, way down. Right. But they also broke up that into people on the right and people on the left. Republican people who vote Republican, people who vote Democrats. And what you see is that a lot more Republicans are value religion, value patriotism, value having kids than Democrats. It's the Democrats' numbers. Now, to be fair, all of our numbers have gone down, but the Democrat numbers have just gone precipitously. They're way, way, way down. There's a huge gap between Democrats and Republicans about believing that religion is important, patriotism, having kids, so on and so forth. And she's asking me that, and I want you to listen to my answer because this is what I'm going to be talking about. Here's the clip from NRB. I think this is really important on several different levels. Number one, we're talking that there is a God gap, if you will, between what we see with the left and the right. We see that. Now that makes sense because progressives believe that the Christian God is the root of their problems. The Christian God is actually enslaving them, our Christian morality, our sexual mores. It is enslaving them, and the only way to reach human liberation is to destroy God. Mm-hmm. The right, historically, and Thomas Sowell calls it is the constrained version or the unconstrained version. The right believes actually that we are enslaved to our corrupt natures until the Spirit of God sets us free. We can never do anything perfectly. We can never do it all right. You're going to live with a certain amount of things that are actually bad. And actually wrong in this world. So what we need to do is then conform to the moral law of God so that we may succeed. Conform to the moral law of God so that we may find satisfaction and contentment and joy living in the good world that God created. So when we look at what's happening with young people, they say that religion is way down. But the Bible teaches us everybody worships. You will either have true worship or you will have false worship. young people may not believe in religion, but they are involved in false worship. So what is happening is we have taken out God, and I just wish that the church would wake up in the name of Jesus to be a prophetic voice that we are called to be. The church has got to wake up. What we've done is said, we don't want to get Jesus involved in politics. We don't want to get Jesus. We don't want to be a theocracy or Christian nationalist. There is no God. There's always a God of the system, and we have displaced the Christian God with LGBTQ. LGBTQ is the new God, and LGBTQ is being worshipped. The sexual revolution is being worshipped. And the church has got to wake up and say, you know what? The best, most loving thing we can do is present a positive vision to say what is actually right. We talk about the abortion issue. 48% of abortions are repeat customers. It's because people think that they have a human right to have as much sex, and they want to do the wild thing but not deal with the consequences. And that is against the created order of God. It's not going to work. So we need to present a positive vision to young people. You're worshiping whether you know it or not. Come to true worship. Your life is going to be so much better because Jesus will set you free. He's not the one enslaving you. You're already a slave, but you could be a freedman in the name of Jesus. Don't make me start preaching. I'll get all pumped up about it. So let's just unpack this a little bit. Because I know some people are like, John, you said you're going to talk about DeSantis coming in. Believe me, this is all wrapped up into the conversation. DeSantis and Trump are going to be just duking it out. We've got all the LGBT stuff that we've been talking about, the drag queen stuff, the sexualization of the children stuff. And now we have all right, so wait a minute, what is conservatism? Who are we? What do we even believe? There's a battle about what conservatism is. Here's what I'm trying to say. If all we're going to care about is the free market, then we're going to just descend into absolute moral calamity. And the reason it really matters here is I'm just scratching my head. So DeSantis is in the race. I'm scratching my head wondering what in the world is going on, because I've been watching some news outlets, conservative news outlets, because see that, there's too much to talk about. There's also a new battle happening in conservative news outlets. Some of the ones that people have trusted for a long time, people are starting to go, okay, wait a minute. You guys were they kind of let us down when it comes to the vaccine. I think you know what I mean. They kind of started pushing that a little bit. They're kind of starting to let us down on the trans issue as well. They're letting us down on the pride issue. They're letting us down on kind of a lot of things, and people are starting to go, wait a minute, what's going on? I don't consider myself some right-wing extremist by any means. Cooper stuff isn't. I don't think of myself like that at all. I'm not some crazy Christian nationalist. I have conservative principles that I thought we all shared, and now I'm going, man, I'm not sure where I'm going to be aligning with when it comes to people's opinions on the news shows. So I'm watching the news shows, and what it's starting to seem like to me, and I'm kind of alluded to here, it's starting to sound like some of the conservative commentators that I've trusted for a decade are starting to say, hey, we have a real problem in conservatism, but what they think is the problem is that we're too conservative. So now I'm like, whoa. What do you mean by that? Explain. And it goes a little something like this. We had the midterms last year. We thought it was going to be a red wave. Because why? Because the Biden administration is just so absolutely horrible. Can't get through a sentence. I don't know what he's talking about. I mean, I just want to say, think about what you think about.
Think about what you think about.
Not only is it just insane, they are pushing the most radical, culture-changing sexuality stuff I may have ever seen. We have drag queens coming to the White House. We got Dylan Mulvaney coming to the White House, who's a man who says he's a little girl as he's doing his 365 days of girlhood, where he acts like a 7-year-old good, like having a Barbie tea party or something. And Biden administration's like, God love you. We got to have you come out here and like sniff your hair. All right, so we have this going on. The economy's a wreck. The pullout of Afghanistan is one of the most just shameful things I've ever seen a president do. So we're going to have a huge red wave. We're getting some victories here. It doesn't happen. And a lot of the research is beginning to come back. Now, this seems true, by the way. Let's just be honest. If the research is correct, if the statistics I've read are correct, well, it seems like one of those reasons, excuse me, I'm yelling too much. Seems like maybe one of the biggest reasons that we didn't get the red wave is because of the abortion issue. Meaning, guess what? People in America, they love abortion. Now, they might say, John, that's just too crazy. I don't know another way to say it. They are unprepared to live without access to abortion. Now, we're going to talk about this on a different episode more, but I get to say the church is just shameful about this. Now, I'm not saying all the church. I'm saying we can't even decide what we believe because most of the church votes pro-life. But now, when it came time to see the measures put in place, there's actually a large percent of the church is saying, whoa, 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 whoa. We don't mean get rid of abortion completely. Are you crazy? And it's made a lot of us pro-lifers and we thought we were all like in agreement, like, sorry, we thought what we meant was we hate abortion. We think it's evil. We think it is taking the life of another human being. It's against the law of God. It's got to go. It's like we all thought we hated slavery. It's almost like we're all fighting against slavery. It's evil. It's man stealing. It's against the law of God. We're all in this together. Fight, 50 years. And then they say, okay, no more slavery. It's under no circumstances can you ever enslave another human being. And then even a lot of evangelicals are like, well, oh. Don't get too radical. You're starting to sound like an extremist here. All right. Little extreme. I don't really understand what's happening about this. Point is, I'm sorry I got off track doing my little noise. Point is that a lot of people are saying that's why you lost. You're so extreme on the abortion issue, you're not going to win again. So it seems like there's a lot of conservative commentators that I thought I trusted that are going, maybe they're just being pragmatists going, hey, guys, you got to stop being so radical about this abortion thing. We're not going to win. And so now DeSantis is coming into the race. In my view, look, there are other people that agree with me, Christians who disagree with me. They probably know more about it than I do. I'm not, you shouldn't listen to me about political commentary beyond political philosophy, okay? I might be totally wrong. My understanding of DeSantis over the last 3 years as governor, I've been watching him thinking, he's kind of doing what he's doing the things that Trump said that we should do. Like in my mind, he's kind of like a kind of Trumpian governor. Like he's pushing back on culture war. I always thought that's why people liked Trump in 2016. It was like, this dude hates PC culture. He hates wokeness. He hates all this. You're not allowed to say anything that hurts somebody's feels, and he's not going to put up with it. He believes in religious freedom, and he's going to be pushing back when these companies start doing things that are anti-American, that aren't good for the nation as a whole. He's pushing back on it. I'm not the smartest political guy in the world. I kind of thought that's why people like Trump, personally. And what I see DeSantis doing is sort of kind of Trumpian, I thought, except that he's not like loud and boisterous. So it's a little bit like you're getting like the nicer version, I thought, the non-tweeting version. So what happened with DeSantis with Disney? So DeSantis put this bill out saying, hey, I don't want K through 3 learning about radical gender theory. You cannot teach that in school. You cannot sexualize children. You cannot speak to them about gay marriage and homosexuality and bisexuality and transgenderism. You cannot give them the gender unicorn so all the little kids can go and say there's 32 genders and I'm going to choose which one I am. You can't talk about sex education to our kids in public school, K through 3. That's all he's saying. No talk about sexualization, not heterosexual sex, not gay sex, not any sex, no sex at all, K through 3. That's it. I thought conservatives would love that. I loved it. I'm like, yeah. And you know that we should love it because the left started freaking out and it was like, it's the Don't Say Gay bill. By the way, I read the bill. It never says anything about not saying gay. It's not against gay people. It's not in any way, it's just saying no talk about sex whatsoever. So they lie about it. And all these people, and even some of the people on the Christian left start saying, well, what he's doing, he's oppressing gay people and yada, yada. It's all a lie. All right. So I thought that we would kind of like that. But now what you see in the Conservative Party, which is just blowing me away. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't finish telling my story. He said that. Disney comes out then, because they have a lot of activists that work for them. And so what's his face at Disney comes out and he says, hey, you know what? We're against this. We're going to fight DeSantis on this bill. We are jumping into the political arena because we think that this is oppressive towards the LGBTQ community. And we are going to be fighting DeSantis because we think, obviously, that kindergartners through third graders should be taught about sexuality and should be taught about radical gender theory. Should be say that boys can be girls and girls can be boys, or you can be both or fluid or whatever. They should do that. That is a good thing for society. And DeSantis is like, I don't think so. All right, you know what? You had all these privileges, all these incredible privileges and tax benefits, things you were paying for. If you're going to jump into the political arena to try to hurt our children, when your entire brand, by the way, is about families and was about children, then you know what? We're going to take away your privileges because you're doing something, wrong. I thought that was good. It's not like it's not like he's taking away their rights. They don't have a right to those things. They were privileges, right? I thought that was a good thing because this is where we get into this idea of libertarianism versus conservatism. Libertarians and people are like, hey, you shouldn't be doing any of that. You stay out of business. But wait a minute. The conservative position used to be there are things that we sometimes do because it is good for the nation. And there are some things that are better for the nation than other things. Not all ideas are equal. Now, not all conservatives agree with this because they say, yeah, but that's what the radical left does. That's why Biden is having Dylan Mulvaney in. That's why Biden is having drag queens to come to the White House to celebrate things. They think that these are things that are good for the nation, and we don't need that. Everybody just needs to go to neutral, and then it's all going to be fine. My understanding of conservatism is like, no, we are supposed to conserve where we came from. That there's a lot of inherited wisdom from centuries and centuries and centuries and even millennia, the things that we are built upon, not just in American history, but from where we came from England, English common law. And of course, before then we had medieval culture and Christian, kind of Catholic culture. Then we had the Reformationist. There is a lot of history here coming in to show us that there are some things we know that work, and there are some things that we know that are actually better than other things. So, therefore, we know from all of recorded human history, since man has been recording, in some kind of a way, the things that we can record, we know that there is a difference between boys and girls. We know that. Why would you think it's a good thing to begin to train kids in kindergarten? And of course, they want to do it before then, which is why the Biden administration is pushing to have, pre-K and all this and other, because they want to indoctrinate your kids, right? And they're perverts. That's just the way it is. And so they want to indoctrinate your kids in this at 3, 4, 5 years old. Well, but we know that's not a good idea. I'm sorry. Some ideas are better than others. My understanding of conservatism is not, hey, pluralistic, everybody's ideas are equal, nobody talks about anything, we don't get involved in anything. No, because that's going to destroy the fabric of the nation. Conservatism says there are actually some ideas that are better than other ones. What have we learned from inherited wisdom from the past? And not only that, but from our religious heritage. And I'm sorry, we do have a religious heritage. I don't know why I said I'm sorry, because I'm not. Okay, I don't give zero poops. Not sorry. I'll stop saying it. True conservatism says we need to conserve these things from the past. Why am I saying that? Because I cannot for the life of me understand why conservative news outlets are bashing DeSantis for the Disney thing. I've been seeing him all week long come on going, Hey, DeSantis has some good things, but he needs to stop the culture war. Stop your war on wokeness. Stop your war on Disney. Stop your 6-week abortion ban is too radical. I think it was actually Trump. This is what is so bizarre. Trump is attacking DeSantis from the left, meaning Trump is saying that DeSantis is too conservative. So you have Trump, I don't understand what's going on. I mean, I will give him props. The most pro-life president. Have we ever had a more pro-life president in my lifetime? Not that I can remember. And so, certainly since Reagan, and the things he did actually went further than Reagan. So I'm a little bit like, okay, wait a minute. You put all these Supreme Court justices, you fought the fight. We begin to see the benefits of this. Roe gets overturned. It goes back to the states where it belongs. All right, well, we're going to talk about where it belongs or not. But the point is that on a state-by-state level, back then, the majority in the 1970s, before Roe, the majority of the country did not think that abortion was okay. The majority of the country was against abortion. And so they did it into federal law just to ram it down, authoritarian nature, because our liberal elites, progressive elites do what they do, which is that we actually know better than you. We're smarter than you. We're better than you. We're going to lead you into utopia. You're backwards. You're old. You're traditional. You believe in fairy tales like God and the past. And you think we need inherited wisdom, but we don't need inherited wisdom because we're going to make the world amazing by letting everybody kill their babies. So they institute this. So Trump did an incredible amount for the pro-life movement. And now he's saying that DeSantis has gotten, quote, too extreme because of DeSantis' 6-week abortion or ban, or heartbeat bill, whatever it's called. I don't even remember what it's called. The point is, what am I to do with this? Not only that, you had Trump Jr. basically saying that conservatives are a little bit ridiculous for boycotting Bud Light. So I thought that you guys were the anti-PC culture people. You were the anti-woke. You were the we're not going to start making this the normal thing in society. Conservatives are finally fighting back, literally for the first time in my entire life. For the first time, people are like, boom, we've had enough. We are sick of this. And we're fighting back. And then what happens? Trump, it's crazy, who may have done more for conservative values, like I say, than I don't think Trump is a moral person. I think that George Bush personally was a moral person, but Trump actually did more for the conservative movement, I think, than Bush did. In my limited understanding, some people may disagree with this. You're welcome to tell me. I'm not amazing at politics. I'm just trying to wrap my head around the fact that Trump's policies did more for conservatism, and now he's going to the left of DeSantis, and now it seems like a lot of conservatives are saying DeSantis he's too radical with this stuff. Nikki Haley, who's also running for president, said about Disney, hey, if you guys want to move up to my state, you're welcome. We'll take you up here. In other words, that was her way of saying, we're not going to boycott you in the way that DeSantis is. That's her way of saying, I disagree with DeSantis. He shouldn't be doing this to you guys. To me, that doesn't seem like real conservatism. That seems like the kind of conservatism I said in my clip, which is, hey, all we need is free market capitalism, conservative principles of economics, and it's going to fix the inflation, it's going to fix the job market, and it's going to do this, and then our country's going to thrive again, and then when we thrive again, we're going to make America great. Well, here's the thing. Money is not a messiah. Money cannot fix what is at the rot in America right now. This is why I think the Republican Party is a joke. This is why, everybody knows I'm conservative. I'm absolutely conservative. I would never vote for somebody that's pro-choice. I would never vote for somebody that's going to keep pushing the sexual revolution. I would never vote for that. So yeah, I'm going to vote for whoever the conservative candidate is that wants to end abortion and wants to end this insanity in our schools with radical gender theory and yada. I'm going to vote for that person. But the Republican Party is a joke. And it's starting to seem like the conservative movement is a joke. Why? Because they're not actually conserving where we came from. They're truncating conservative economics. and taking conservative morality out of the picture as if we don't need that. But here's the truth. Here's the truth. And this is where some people are going to disagree with me. Send me a comment, but I'm going to pause it. I'm going to say it loud and proud. I have a lot more confidence. In fact, it's not even comparable. I think if you did the opposite, we would even see this country flourish in a huge way. Let me explain what I mean. Some people say, no, we'll truncate. We employ conservative economics and we don't worry about the moral and the social fabric. That's fine. And if we do the economics, then everybody's going to be blessed and everything's going to be good and the people and the poor are going to get lifted up. And that's going to solve things. I actually think that's going to fail. It's going to lead to destruction. But if you did the opposite, in other words, if you said, hey, I don't really know about inflation, I don't really know about all the economics and wealth redistribution and taxes, that's not really my thing. But if we institute conservative principles on morality and our social fabric and saying some ideas are better than others, the nuclear family is better than anti-Christian drag organizations, so on and so forth, it's saying that our businesses actually, we need to push back on them in such an incredible way that they lose so much money that they don't have, for a full month in the middle of the summer, a celebration of kids' sexuality. Not LGBTQ, not homosexuality, not heterosexuality. Kids don't need to be sexualized. Just leave it alone. It's not good. Let the parents do that. Stop the schools from teaching this stuff because it's evil. They should not be teaching it anyway. It's not their business to be teaching it anyway. If we did that and said, I don't even know about the conservative principles, that's not the thing. This is how we're going to save America. Well, then I believe we would begin to flourish because you would be honoring the law of God when it comes to protecting children. You'd be honoring God by saying, I'm sorry, God's design says that some things are actually better than other things. I mean, that's just the way that it is. And we are not going to have a country that celebrates wickedness. If we began to do that, well, I think the economic principles would begin to fix themselves. Because guess what? There are biblical economic principles, and they are better than other principles. Wealth redistribution is wickedness. It's unequal scales. You're stealing from some people and giving it to other people. All right? That's not something that in the end, biblically, people end up doing. In other words, if we can save the moral fabric and we can promote Christian ideas, promote our religious heritage, people's hearts would begin to change and then begin to see the truth. And these other things would just naturally work themselves out because they are not near as important as civil ethics and a civil religion. And guess what? You're going to have a civil religion. It's not possible to not have one. Right now, we have turned our backs on the civil religion of Christianity, Judeo-Christian ethics and where we came from, and we are praising and promoting a new civil religion of LGBTQ activism. Of really what it is a sexual revolution, because it's not just LGBTQ. I'm not just beating up on these particular little groups. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the sexual perversion of our whole society. All right, so it's heterosexuality, it's pornography, it's the drag queen stuff, it's all of the queer stuff, it's all of it. This sexualization, it's sex education in kindergarten. Are you kidding me? We don't need it. It's evil. It's ruining America. So I'm not saying, this is not my pitch for DeSantis. This isn't my pitch against Trump or Nikki Haley. That's not even that. It's more kind of saying, guys, we should have a talk about what conservatism is. And conservatism is not libertarianism. It's not. And conservatism isn't like, everybody just do whatever you want to do, leave the government out of every single thing ever. That's not actually what I understand true conservatism to be about. And I think that Christians need to have some moral confidence in the principles of conservatism about valuing history, wisdom, the things that came before us. Not because we all want to be political ideologues, but because that's what Proverbs tells us to do. You listen to instruction. You honor your father and your mother. In other words, you listen to what your father and mother have to say. You listen to where you have come from, and you don't hide. You don't close your ears to wisdom and knowledge. It doesn't make any sense. We should have absolute confidence in the Word of God, because the Word of God never changes. And if we continue to ignore the Word of God and our moral and civil religion, I'll tell you, we're on the precipice. You think it's bad now? America will be absolutely unrecognizable in the next 4 years. So do it for you, do it for your family, do it for Christianity. Christians, rise up and believe that the Word of God is true and stand upon His Word. Thanks for watching Cooper Stuff.
Read the Bible.
Cooper Stuff! I'm in the game!